May 16, 2167, the world is burning, and humanity's last stand has completely collapsed into ruin. Si Chen, the SSS rank Volt assassin, is pinned against the rubble, broken and bleeding out. 7 years ago, the Demon Kings descended, crushing everything with their overwhelming god-like force. The Demon King Glutton looms over him, mocking his pathetic final struggle. He reaches out with a dark, twisted energy, ready to consume Si Chen and steal his power. But Si Chen is not going down without a fight. Channeling every ounce of his remaining life force, he thinks of his sister, his comrades, and his master, everyone he failed to protect. "I am taking you down with me," he screams, unleashing his ultimate skill, the Terminus Arc. The Demon King freezes, terrified, unable to move as the light consumes him. Si Chen's body shatters like glass, his memories flashing before his eyes in a final painful blur. He sees his family, wishing he could have been stronger for them. "If only I could go back," he whispers, his consciousness fading into the void of death. A massive explosion tears through the landscape, erasing everything in a blinding final flash. Darkness takes him, total and absolute silence. Then, he wakes up gasping for air in the dim light. He's lying in a bed, confused, his heart pounding in his chest. Wait, this is not possible. He's alive. Si Chen sits up, gasping for air, his mind spinning as he looks around the room. "Where is this?" he whispers, his eyes wide as he stares out the window. He sees the school hospital crowded with students and his heart sinks. Was not the world already destroyed? He thinks, struggling to process the sight of so many living people. It takes a moment to sink in. He's traveled 10 years into the past, back to his college days. Suddenly, a sharp electric buzz rings in his ears. A notification flashes before his eyes. Gluttony power fusion complete. He's back right before the nightmare began on May 16, 2157. This is 3 years before the Demon King arrival. He realizes his pulse quickening. He knows the history all too well. In 2160, the first Demon King Wrath will descend. That monster opened the gates of hell, and the others followed, bringing total annihilation. He lost everything in that war, but now he has a second chance. He stares at his own hands, trembling with newfound resolve. "If I can just defeat the first one to appear, Wrath, I can stop the gates of hell from opening. He'll have a real chance to change everything this time." But then he notices a strange floating interface still hovering in his vision. It's a status screen displaying numbers he's never seen before. What are these things that look like game stats? He wonders, scanning the values. Every attribute is set to 100, which is unheard of for a beginner. He's only ever known standard awakened powers, but this is something else entirely. In this world, only 1 in 10,000 people can awaken, and he was a nobody. He remembers his past life being at the bottom of the food chain for 4 long years. "That's probably why I woke up in the infirmary," he mutters, scratching his head. Suddenly, the interface shifts, displaying a familiar, powerful class profile. "Volt Assassin," he gasps, seeing the exact skills he used to master. "Is not this my class from my previous life?" Si Chen feels a surge of familiar energy pulsing through his veins, and he decides to test the limits of his newfound power. He triggers a class switch, and suddenly his roommate Ma Long bursts through the door. Ma Long is frantic, checking on him with genuine concern, but Si Chen just keeps his cool, knowing the interface is invisible to everyone else. Ma Long is completely stunned, pointing out that Si Chen's injuries have vanished overnight. But Si Chen just stares back, processing the reality of seeing his old friend alive again. He knows Ma Long was lost early in the war, and seeing him here makes the weight of his second chance hit home. Ma Long quickly shifts gears, reminding him that the rank assessment is tomorrow, and he practically drags Si Chen out the door to get ready. They step out into the campus, where students are casually showing off their abilities. And Si Chen is overwhelmed by the sight of so many people living normal lives. He walks through the crowd, but Ma Long keeps pushing him to head toward the field, oblivious to the dark future Si Chen is trying to prevent. The memory of the apocalypse haunts him, and he knows he has to get stronger immediately. He knows the only way to level up is by hunting in demon lairs, but those are all locked down by the powerful guilds. He checks his status screen again, noting that most students are stuck at the lowest rank, and he cannot help but wonder exactly where he stands now. Si Chen knows he's dealing with someone far stronger than his past self. But before he can react, a basketball slams right into his face, sending him crashing to the floor in pain. A group of bullies looms over them, mocking Si Chen and Ma Long, and laughing about how fast they recovered from their last beating. Ma Long is terrified, whispering that they are just unlucky to run into these guys again. But the lead bully just grins, bragging that these two can take a real beating. He demands to know why they did not bring him any drinks while he was playing ball, and Ma Long immediately cowers, apologizing and offering to go buy some right now. But Si Chen is not having it, stepping forward with a cold glare and telling Ma Long that he is not the one in the wrong. Memories of this exact moment flood back into his mind, and the sheer rage of his past life begins to boil over. He remembers the torture, the humiliation, and the way they used to drown him in the bathroom just for fun. Ma Long is still begging them to stop, but the bully just laughs, claiming he's only helping them out by stimulating Si Chen since he has not awakened yet. They cackle like maniacs, clearly enjoying the cruelty. and when they see Si Chen pass out, they just get bored and walk away. Ma Long rushes to his side frantic and asking if he's okay, but Si Chen is already staring into the abyss wondering why these monsters never leave them alone. He realizes that malice does not just exist in demon lairs. It's right here among humans too. The bully turns back still demanding his drinks, and Ma Long is already scrambling to apologize again, but Si Chen stands tall, his eyes burning with a new dangerous resolve. He is not apologizing because the ones who should be sorry are them. The bully stares down at Si Chen with pure arrogance, while Ma Long panics, terrified of what's coming next. This is Gong Cheng, a low-life who only acts tough because of his brother's status. He thinks he owns the school, but his actual power is pathetic. The crowd whispers, waiting for the inevitable beatdown. They mock Si Chen, calling him the school's most useless loser. Gong Cheng looms over him, radiating a sickly green energy. He sneers, demanding to know if Si Chen has a death wish. But Si Chen does not flinch, his eyes cold and dead as he delivers a chilling warning. From now on, do not bother us. Gong Cheng loses it, screaming that he's going to break him. He throws a haymaker, but Si Chen moves with terrifying speed, catching the fist mid-air. The impact sends a shockwave through the air, and Gong Cheng recoils in genuine pain. The entire courtyard goes silent, everyone stunned that a weakling just blocked a powered-up punch. Gong Cheng is losing his mind, screaming that Si Chen should not even be awakened. He charges again, blinded by pure, unadulterated rage. Si Chen just smirks, whispering perfect timing. He triggers his system, and the Volt Assassin class profile locks in with devastating stats. Ma Long is shaking, screaming in disbelief at the sudden surge of power. Si Chen stands there crackling with lethal electricity. Gong Cheng screams, calling on his demon lock skill to crush him. He thinks he's about to win, but he has no idea what's coming. Si Chen moves like a blur, closing the distance in a heartbeat. A single lightning-fast strike connects with Gong Cheng's jaw. The bully is launched into the air, completely ragdolled by the sheer force. The crowd is absolutely losing their minds, watching the school's biggest bully get wrecked in one hit. The courtyard is in total shock as Si Chen stands over the fallen bully, and the remaining thugs are paralyzed, too terrified to even move. Ma Long is shaking, his face pale as he stares at the scene in complete disbelief. But Si Chen does not care about the crowd. He's radiating a lethal, crackling energy that marks him as a predator. Gong Cheng, fueled by pure pathetic rage, lunges forward for one last desperate attack. Si Chen does not even blink, catching the fist with effortless, terrifying precision. The power gap is massive, and he sends Gong Cheng flying with a single brutal motion. Too weak, Si Chen mutters, his eyes glowing with cold, calculated intent. He follows up with a strike that hits like a thunderbolt, sending the bully ragdolling across the field. The impact is devastating, leaving Gong Cheng broken against the wall. He's completely finished, coughing up blood as he stares at the ceiling in a daze. The surrounding students scramble away, terrified of the monster they thought was a loser. Ma Long is hyperventilating, wondering how his friend suddenly became a god of war. Si Chen looks at his own hand, still crackling with electricity, feeling the weight of his new strength. He pulls up his interface, analyzing the situation with a calm, focused mind. He knows he can toggle his Volt Assassin state at will, and he's already confirmed he's far above the bottom-tier trash. But there's a mystery here. Why have not his base stats moved after such a display? He stares at the glowing static numbers, wondering if he's truly broken the system. Meanwhile, the onlookers are still screaming, unable to process the shift in power. Si Chen does not hesitate, closing the distance to finish the job properly. He's hunting for experience, testing if the path to power is the same as before. With a final lightning charge strike, he crushes the last of the resistance, and the hunt for his future has truly begun. The fight is over, but the tension is just beginning. Si Chen stands over the defeated bully, and the vice president of the student council steps in to stop the chaos. She gives him a cold, warning smile, but Si Chen does not back down from the pressure. He knows the student council is watching, but he's not afraid of their games anymore. The crowd is stunned, whispering about how the school's biggest loser just changed everything. Si Chen and Ma Long walk away, leaving the vice president to wonder about the sudden shift in power. Back in the dorm, Ma Long is still buzzing with excitement, shouting about how Si Chen absolutely wrecked Gong Cheng, but their roommate Xiang Zhu is skeptical, mocking them and doubting that a real awakening happened. Xiang Yu joins in the mockery, reminding everyone that they're all at the bottom of the food chain. He flexes his own superior status, looking down on Si Chen with pure arrogance. They're all waiting for the final rank evaluation tomorrow, completely unaware of the true power Si Chen is hiding. Meanwhile, the real threat is looming in the shadows. Gong Ting, the president of the student council, steps into the light, looking down at his subordinates with a dangerous, calm gaze. He finds the beaten-up Gong Cheng waiting for him, desperate for revenge after his humiliating defeat. Gong Ting just stares him down, his eyes cold as he whispers, "Got it." The storm is coming, and Si Chen is right in the center of it. Gong Ting sits in luxury, cutting his steak while dismissing the recent defeat as mere weakness. But he remains cold and calculating, questioning if Si Chen is truly as dangerous as the rumors suggest. The vice president reminds him that the school's top-tier talent is already locked in his club, and that ordinary students have no way to bridge the gap in power. Meanwhile, Si Chen is out in the pouring rain, pushing his body to the absolute limit with intense physical training. He knows that raw physical strength is the foundation for any awakened power, but he feels the crushing weight of reality. He's still nowhere near strong enough. Memories of 2160 flash before him, the year wrath descended and slaughtered everyone in his path. He sees his sister, his only family, dying in that hellish nightmare. It was wrath who tore open the gates of hell, and Si Chen's eyes burn with a lethal singular focus. His mission is clear. He has to kill Wrath before the apocalypse begins. He has 3 years to outpace a monster. And then, his phone suddenly buzzes. It's a message from his sister Zioyan. He freezes, his heart hammering against his ribs as he answers. She's alive, talking about her competition and the rent money, completely oblivious to the doom approaching. She laughs full of life, and Si Chen is overwhelmed by the sheer relief of hearing her voice again. He makes a silent vow to protect her, even if it means sacrificing his own soul to the abyss. He's crying, unable to hold back the emotion of this second chance. She keeps talking, promising to see him soon, and Si Chen just listens, his resolve hardening into something unbreakable. The mission is clear, and Si Chen is pushing his body to the absolute limit, running through the rain as he counts the hours since his return. He's getting used to this younger, weaker body, but his mind is locked on a single burning problem. He needs to level up, yet the guilds have every demon lair under lock and key, leaving ordinary people with zero chance to grow. But then he turns his focus to that mysterious gluttony power, and suddenly the system kicks into gear, pulling him into a dark, otherworldly void. He finds himself standing before a twisted demonic tower, wondering if he's dreaming or if this is actually happening. A pack of rank E direhounds lunges at him. But he does not panic. He triggers his class switch, and the Volt Assassin profile locks in with lethal precision. The beasts attack with savage speed, but Si Chen moves faster, slicing through them in a blur of electricity. He tears through the pack, claiming their fang of doom drops, and realizes that taking down these monsters is actually a piece of cake. The experience points start flooding in, and he feels his level rising. Watching his stats skyrocket as the system confirms his growth, he grins, realizing he's finally found a place where he can hunt solo, and sets his sights on the Doomfang King. It's time for a real trial. And with one final lightning charge strike, he obliterates the boss and claims his reward. The boss falls, and the system lights up with a massive victory screen. 2 levels gained in a single heartbeat, and his stats are already climbing fast. But wait, what's this? The fallen beast is marked as devourable. Si Chen stares at the red pulsing interface, his eyes wide with shock. What does devourable actually mean for him? He reaches out, and his hand erupts with a blinding, otherworldly light. It's the same dark energy he once saw in the Demon King. The system begins the process, and the shadows swirl around him in a violent vortex. He channels that raw stolen power right into his own clenched fist. The process finishes, and the monster is gone, replaced by a glowing card in his hand. He's stunned. He just turned a boss into a usable class profile. His eyes widen as the realization hits him like a physical blow. He's holding the power of a Demon King in his palm. The Devouring continues, consuming the very essence of the Lair. He's wielding the exact same terrifying ability that Glutton once used to destroy the world. That dark, forbidden power now belongs to him alone. Usually people are stuck with just one class for their entire lives, but now he's looking at 2 distinct profiles, the Volt Assassin and the Doomfang King. If he can keep devouring, he will not just have one class, he'll have an army of them. He stares at his own reflection, trembling at the sheer scale of his potential. Why did he get this specific broken power? Before he can answer, a massive, twisted tower rises from the abyss behind him. The pressure is suffocating, shaking him to his very core. A voice echoes from the darkness, chilling him to the bone. So you have finally come. A hooded figure emerges, and Si Chen realizes he's staring at his own destiny. The world of the awakened is brutal, defined by a rigid hierarchy of power from E to S. Si Chen is pushed to his absolute limit, his body battered and bleeding on the ground. He's barely holding onto a D rank, gasping for air while his energy flickers, but standing over him is an S rank boss, a nightmare of pure destruction. The level gap is suffocating, and his stats are being completely crushed. Wait, how does this monster even know his name? They've traded dozens of blows, and the boss has had endless chances to end him. He's sent flying again, crashing into the earth with a sickening thud. Every single time the monster avoids his vitals, choosing to toy with him instead. The hooded figure looms, his voice dripping with dark malice, still resisting. Si Chen wipes the blood from his lip, his eyes burning with defiance. The boss offers him a twisted deal. Stay and guard this hellish tower. But Si Chen's resolve is iron. He'll never rot in this place. He surges forward, his body crackling with desperate, lethal electricity. The boss mocks him, claiming he's only kept him alive because he's the only one who could reach this floor. The air grows heavy with purple lightning, the very essence of the Lair swirling around them. The boss demands an answer, his power spiking and forcing Si Chen's stats to climb under the pressure. He's suspended in the air, a tiny figure against a massive floating island of death. Si Chen's eyes glow with a terrifying predatory light. "I choose to kill you," he screams, launching himself into the fray. The boss just laughs, calling the attempt ridiculous. Si Chen moves like a blur of gold, dodging the purple death. He's locked in, eyes tracking every movement of the boss's massive blade. He's finally cracked the code of this impossible fight. There's a 0.4-second wind-up before every swing, and he's going to use it to tear this monster apart. Si Chen is locked in a high-stakes dance of death. Forced to predict the boss' lethal path while dodging every strike, he's counting the seconds. Knowing there's a tiny 0.2-second pause in the monster's follow-through, he has to find that opening, because if he catches the boss while he's defenseless, he can pierce that heart in a single perfect instant. He's only D rank, but if he goes all out, he can trigger a paralysis status to hold the beast down. He pushes his speed to the limit with Flash God, buying just enough time to escape the immediate slaughter. He scans the surroundings, realizing that the light he just created is the only source of clarity in this void. He reaches out. And suddenly the light vanishes into thin air. The boss mocks him, revealing that the exit he's hunting does not even exist, but he's impressed by Si Chen's ability to find a flaw so quickly. The Purgatory Rakshasa looms. And Si Chen freezes. He's seen that exact look of malice before on Demon King Glutton. Even under this crushing pressure, Si Chen is gambling his life, clashing against the monster in a blinding explosion of power. Memories flood back of his final battle against Glutton, where he watched the demon switch between multiple stolen classes. He remembers the sheer variety of abilities, and now he's facing a creature that mirrors that same nightmare. He channels his energy. And the truth hits him like a freight train. This boss was once devoured by Gluttony itself. The monster standing before him is a remnant of that stolen power. And since that same Gluttony has fused with his own body, he realizes the terrifying truth. This place is a graveyard of everything the Demon King has ever consumed. Si Chen stands in the void, staring at the massive tower before him. The demonic entity looms, its eyes burning with a cold, terrifying intensity. Si Chen is stunned, his heart racing as he processes the situation. Suddenly, a golden key materializes in his hand, pulsing with SSS rank energy. The demon explains that this tower holds the strongest beings Gluttony ever consumed. Si Chen stares at the key, realizing the system is handing him the ultimate weapon. He questions why this entity is helping him, but the demon just stares back. The entity reveals that even demons have clans, and the Demon King slaughtered his own kind for power. It's a vendetta, and Si Chen is the perfect vessel for their revenge. That person? Si Chen whispers, completely confused by the cryptic message. The demon points to the tower, demanding he search for the truth within. It commands him to take its power and make the Demon Kings pay. "Take your power?" Si Chen repeats, his mind reeling from the weight of the offer. The demon surges forward, its energy enveloping Si Chen in a violent purple fire. It warns him that the demons inside will not be as merciful as it was. Si Chen's eyes harden, his resolve turning into pure cold steel. He vows to reach the pinnacle and devour every single Demon King. The entity smiles, satisfied that it finally found a worthy successor. It begins to fade, leaving Si Chen alone with the raw chaotic energy. He reaches out and the system initiates the devouring process. A massive surge of experience hits him and he levels up instantly. He accepts the burden, whispering that he'll carry the demon's hatred too. The Purgatory Rakshasa profile locks in, granting him terrifying new abilities. Suddenly the vision shatters and he hears a voice calling him back. Si Chen bolts upright in his dorm bed, gasping for air as the reality of the nightmare settles in. Si Chen wakes up in the dorm, still trying to process the madness of his regression. He checks his body, finding every single scar from his past life completely vanished. But then, he pulls up his interface and the proof of his survival is right there, glowing in the air. He's already hit level 10 in a single night and the stats are looking absolutely insane. Suddenly his roommate bursts in, acting like everything is normal. He starts running his mouth, mocking Si Chen and questioning his strength. But Si Chen does not even flinch, just staring him down while the rank evaluation looms. He's ready to show everyone exactly what he's made of now. Out in the hall, the bullies are still acting like they own the place, bragging about their mid-tier E-rank status. They think they're untouchable because they're a few tiers above the rest. One of them is practically dancing, feeling good about his progress. Ma Long is whispering to Si Chen, begging him to go all out and crush them. Si Chen just looks at the D-rank goal, wondering if that's really enough. They head toward the field, the tension building with every step. Suddenly, the bully stops dead in his tracks, his face turning pale. The evaluation ceremony is already packed with students. Then Gong Cheng's lackeys appear, looking for trouble as usual. They try to act tough, but something feels different today. They catch a glimpse of Si Chen and their eyes go wide with pure terror. Si Chen just walks past them, radiating a cold, lethal aura. The lackeys are shaking, realizing they're staring at a monster. They drop to their knees, begging for mercy right in front of everyone. The onlookers are stunned, wondering why these thugs are acting so submissive. Si Chen does not even give them a second glance, walking past them like they're nothing. But then, a voice cuts through the silence and Si Chen turns, his eyes burning with a dangerous crimson light. A smug student council officer named Qiang Dai struts over, looking down his nose at everyone while dropping the name of the powerful student council president. Lord Gongting. The crowd is absolutely terrified, whispering in shock as they realize who is standing right in front of them, wondering how a D-rank big shot like Qiang Dai could possibly be involved with a loser like Si Chen. But something feels wrong in the air, and Qiang Dai leans in close, sniffing the air with a twisted grin, claiming he can smell the scent of a true powerhouse. But then he sneers at Si Chen, mocking him for having the pathetic stench of someone destined to stay at the bottom forever. He repeats his arrogant claim about his sharp sense of smell, doubling down on his insults while looming over Si Chen. But Si Chen just stares back, cold as ice, and asks if he's a dog or something, which sends Qiang Dai into a blind, screaming rage. Suddenly, the student council president himself steps in, commanding Qiang Dai to stop. His eyes calm and calculating as he reveals he's investigated the situation and knows Gong Cheng was the one at fault. He declares that it's only right to pay the price for doing something wrong, leaving everyone stunned by his cold, authoritative silence, while Si Chen just watches him with a dangerous, crimson-eyed intensity. The announcement rings out that the rank evaluation is about to begin, and as they head toward the field, the council members dismiss Si Chen as no threat at all. The entire school gathers around the massive, glowing portal on the field, while high above in a private office the elite watch the ceremony with cold curiosity, wondering if anyone worth their time will finally appear. The testing begins and Xiang Zhu is called up to the stage. Desperate to prove his true strength to the crowd, he steps into the glowing, otherworldly portal, walking into the darkness to face his trial, where he finds himself standing before a pulsing, tethered demon core designed to absorb all his energy. He screams as he unleashes every ounce of his power directly into the core, hoping to secure a rank that will change his life forever. The rank evaluation reaches a fever pitch as the demon core pulses with raw, unstable energy. It's a high-tech nightmare, siphoning power through thick vein-like cables. The machine hums, ready to spit out the truth about every student's soul. Xiang Zhu steps up, but the screen flashes a disappointing E rank. The proctors just sigh, noting the lack of impressive data. But wait, the crowd goes wild because the main event is finally here. The system does not just measure current strength, it calculates potential, the absolute ceiling of a student's future. High potential means the nation's eyes are on you, and for some it lands at a solid C. Xiang Zhu walks away, crushed, his rank stagnant for 2 years straight. His friends try to comfort him, but the mood is heavy. They're all stuck in the lower tier, dreading the future. Then the impossible happens. A student hits rank D and the crowd loses their minds. It's the first rank D of the year, a massive milestone. More time passes and the results keep piling up, with more students breaking into the D tier. It's the 8th one already and the pressure is mounting. The proctors are stunned by the sheer number of talents appearing this year. But then the atmosphere shifts instantly. The crowd parts like the Red Sea as Gong Ting steps into the light. Everyone is whispering, terrified and awestruck by the Imperial Guild's golden boy. Si Chen watches from the shadows, his eyes narrowing as he tracks his rival. Everyone expects Gong Ting to shatter the school's all-time records. He approaches the core and it begins to glow with an eerie, rhythmic heartbeat. He reaches out his hand, hovering over the device with cold, calculated precision. He's holding back, planning to unleash his true, terrifying potential only during the final combat exam. He knows he's going to make history, and his eyes burn with the ambition of a future king. The tension in the arena is suffocating as the screen flashes the final results. The proctor stares at the display, his face turning pale as he mutters that color is. It's a rank D upper tier result, but the potential stat is glowing with a blinding S rank light. The entire crowd erupts in absolute chaos, screaming WTF at the impossible numbers. The bullies are losing their minds, shouting as expected of the president, "Long live the president." Si Chen stands in the back, his eyes cold as he thinks we are witnessing history. The proctors are already scrambling, asking, should we report this to higher authorities immediately? And the answer is a resounding of course. Everyone knows that an S-rank potential is a national treasure, and Gong Ting is already the golden boy of the Imperial Guild. Gong Ting stands there, his results confirmed as rank D and S-rank potential, looking like he already owns the world. High above in the VIP office, the elite watch the spectacle, remarking this year's evaluation is truly filled with talent. The president of the university turns to his guests, saying, you already knew Gong Ting was an S-rank potential, did not you? But the guest just smiles, whispering, not quite. I did not come for him. She looks down at the field with a mysterious glint in her eye, adding, more than Gong Ting. She pauses, her gaze fixing on someone else. I am more looking forward to his performance. Suddenly, the announcer calls out the next name. Si Chen. The bullies immediately swarm him, sneering, hey, kid, you better bring some glory to your dorm. They cackle, do not tell me you are gonna test as rank E lower tier 2. That'd be the biggest joke in the school. They keep piling on the insults, mocking them as weaklings who will only embarrass themselves in the combat exam. But Ma Long is fired up, screaming, just you wait. Si Chen's gonna blow your mind. Si Chen walks toward the glowing portal, his name displayed on the board as he prepares to face the trial. The bullies are still laughing, wondering can Si Chen really pull it off. He steps into the dark pulsating core, the cables siphoning his energy as he enters the void. The core stares back with a single massive eye waiting to judge his true worth. Si Chen's eyes burn with a dangerous crimson light as he reaches out to seize his destiny. He knows the truth. In this era, the only way to survive is to join a high-level guild, and the only path to that power is the graduation combat exam. The graduation combat exam is the ultimate proving ground, where teams of 10 fight for a golden ticket to the Imperial Guild. But for the elites, this evaluation is just a stage to cement their dominance. The top dogs have already locked in their squads, laughing as they prepare to crush everyone else. It's a brutal law of nature. The strong thrive and the weak are discarded. But then, all eyes turn to the portal. Si Chen has been inside for a while and there's been absolutely no movement. The bullies start cackling, betting that he's too weak to even register a rank. They're already walking away, calling him total trash, but Gong Ting just watches with a cold, unreadable expression. Suddenly the screen flickers violently, a result flashes, rank D upper tier. The crowd goes dead silent, everyone staring in total shock. Ma Long is screaming, "I told you he was the real deal." Gong Ting's face drops, his arrogance replaced by pure confusion. But wait, the demon core is pulsing unstable and the system is glitching out. Si Chen is testing his limits, realizing his base strength alone is already a D rank. He triggers a class switch. And the system locks in the Doomfang King profile, pushing his power even higher. The screen zaps again, and the rank jumps. It's now a rank C. The entire arena erupts into absolute chaos. And Gong Ting is losing his mind, shouting that it's all a mistake. The proctors are sweating buckets, wondering if the entire system is crashing right before their eyes. The demon core is failing, and the system is screaming about an unstable state. But Si Chen does not care about the warnings. He's already pushing his limits. Confident that his other classes are far superior to a measly C rank, he triggers his final transformation, and the Purgatory Rakshasa profile locks in with terrifying force. The core can't handle the pressure, and suddenly the entire sky above the arena turns into a swirling purple vortex of doom. The students are frozen in their tracks, staring up in absolute terror as the world seems to tear apart. The screen glitches, flashing an impossible blinding golden light that defies all logic. The proctors are losing their minds, screaming as they realize another S-rank potential has just appeared, but the system is struggling, flickering with red warnings as it fails to process the sheer scale of his power. It's too much. The potential value is off the charts. And the proctors are literally hyperventilating in panic. A massive shockwave rips through the field, and the staff scrambles to check on the student inside. They rush into the dark, crackling void. Terrified of what they might find, they stop dead. The demon core is completely dead, drained of every drop of energy. Si Chen stands there calm and collected, having devoured the core's essence to fuel his own growth. His eyes glow with a lethal emerald light, and as he walks out he realizes he can now see everyone's rank with perfect clarity. Si Chen's eyes burn with a cold, lethal intensity as he realizes the truth about his rival Gong Ting, who has been hiding his true power all along. But suddenly, the proctors announce that the demon core has completely burned out from the overload, forcing them to suspend the evaluation and report the massive data error to the higher authorities immediately. Ma Long and his friends are ecstatic, cheering that Si Chen is a total genius regardless of what the glitchy machine says. But the student council members are livid, screaming that it's impossible for a nobody like Si Chen to reach such heights. They demand compensation for the wasted time, but Si Chen just stares at them with a dark, crackling aura, wondering if he should just cripple them right here. Suddenly, the president Gong Ting steps in to stop the bickering, telling his subordinate to stand down and show respect to a potential teammate. Everyone is stunned, whispering teammate. Gong Ting extends a hand, offering Si Chen a spot on his squad for the graduation combat exam, promising they'll set the highest score in history. Si Chen just looks at him, his gaze cold and unreadable. The crowd is in total shock that the president personally invited the school's former loser to join his elite team. And the council members are panicking, wondering how they'll explain this to the others. They can't believe it, asking what makes Si Chen so special when so many others would kill for this invite. But Gong Ting does not care, and he reaches out to pull Si Chen into the fold. The subordinate is forced to swallow his pride, faking a smile as he welcomes Si Chen to the team. But then, Si Chen just swats his hand away, flatly stating not interested. The entire courtyard goes silent and Gong Ting's eyes widen in genuine disbelief. The lackey screams, asking if Si Chen has a death wish, but Si Chen just sighs, saying it has nothing to do with him. He turns his back, his eyes glowing with that dangerous crimson light, and tells them, "You're too noisy, do not bother me again." The lackey loses his mind, spewing fire in his rage as Si Chen walks away, leaving the entire crowd whispering about his insane boldness in rejecting the president himself. They think he's aiming for first place on his own, while Ma Long and his friends watch, laughing at how embarrassed the council members look after being shut down so hard. Gong Ting stands there looking calm, but he knows Si Chen is playing a dangerous game. The higher-ups are watching the school with keen interest, and they find this unexpected rivalry between the two students absolutely fascinating. To them, Si Chen's bold rejection of the president is not just a snub, it's a declaration of war. They know Gong Ting is not the type to just let this slide, and his lackeys are already whispering that Si Chen's high rank was just a lucky glitch. But Gong Ting is smarter than that. He's wondering if the test was actually accurate. And he's terrified of losing his top spot to a former nobody. His lackey tries to suck up by offering to teach Si Chen a lesson, but Gong Ting shuts him down, acting like he's above such petty games. He does not care what Si Chen does. And he tells his team to just focus on their own path. The lackey plays along with a fake smile, but 10 minutes later they're already plotting behind his back. They've confirmed Si Chen left the campus. And they see this as the perfect chance to strike. They're grinning like maniacs, ready to ambush him now that he's off school grounds. Si Chen, however, is walking alone, his mind heavy with the memories of his past life. He remembers the day a peak-level guild team was wiped out by the Demon King Wrath, a nightmare that signaled the beginning of the end for humanity. He's got a plan to find that specific demon lair. But to make it happen, he's going to need a massive amount of cash. The Mithril Monster Exchange is the biggest resource hub in the nation, and it's the place where every awakened hunter goes to gear up. Si Chen walks right up to the counter, dropping a handful of monster parts that leave the clerk completely speechless. The clerk identifies them as Direhound Fangs, but he's already getting annoyed, bragging that he only deals with high-tier VIPs and rank D gear. He's clearly frustrated by the lack of real business, but Si Chen just keeps his cool, letting the clerk dump the paperwork on his assistant. He collects his payment, 18,000, enough to cover his rent. But then he decides to show them something else. He pulls out a glowing purple greatsword, and the assistant's jaw hits the floor. She's convinced it's at least rank B, maybe even A. But the clerk is losing his mind, screaming that he's never seen such a weapon in his life. Suddenly, a new figure steps into the room, and the clerk immediately starts groveling, but the man in the suit just stares at the blade, his eyes widening as he realizes it's actually rank S equipment from the Purgatory realm. The clerk is absolutely terrified, and the man in the suit quickly changes his tune, bowing and offering Si Chen a spot in the VIP room. Si Chen just smirks, knowing he's finally caught the attention of Qing Zhai, the boss of the Mithril Guild. The tension in the room is thick as the guild boss stares down at the S-rank weapon. Si Chen does not blink, calmly demanding a loan of 1 million. The boss is stunned, his eyes widening behind his glasses. He can't believe a college student is trying to pawn a priceless S-rank relic. Si Chen holds his ground, promising to pay it all back in a month. The boss is clearly rattled, wondering what kind of kid is sitting in front of him. He realizes Si Chen is not selling it, just using it as leverage. He starts to wonder if this kid is a hidden prodigy or a runaway heir. Si Chen doubles down, offering 10% interest to sweeten the deal. The boss immediately clears the room, sending his assistant away. He leans in his sharp mind, already putting the pieces together. He correctly guesses that Si Chen is a senior at the National Awakened University. He knows the graduation combat exam is coming up in 1 month. He smiles, realizing the prize money for first place is exactly 1 million. He looks at Si Chen, asking if he's really that confident in winning. He points out that Si Chen must be desperate to pawn such a treasure. But then, the boss's expression shifts into a predatory grin. He offers 1.5 million in cash immediately with 0 interest. He extends his hand, calling it a friendly token to build a relationship. Si Chen stays silent, his crimson eyes analyzing every move. The boss promises total confidentiality and future privileges if they partner up. Si Chen is impressed by the man's sharp instincts and business sense. He knows he can't fight the Demon King Wrath all by himself. He needs powerful, reliable allies, so he reaches out to seal the deal. With the contract signed, the path to his future begins to glow with new power. The mana contract is officially sealed, and the funds hit his account instantly. But the guild boss is not done yet, asking what Si Chen will actually use for the upcoming graduation exam. He offers to lend him some high-tier equipment, noting they have plenty of A and B rank gear in stock. Si Chen just shakes his head, pulling out another glowing purple blade, as he says he's already got everything he needs. The entire room goes silent, the staff staring in absolute shock at the sight of such a powerful weapon. They are completely stunned, bowing and calling him a true hero as he walks away. The boss is thrilled, promoting his assistant on the spot for securing such a high-profile client. But Si Chen has one more thing on his mind. He looks back calmly, stating he needs to buy something else. He hops into a taxi, heading straight for the long-distance bus station. He stands before the massive terminal, the weight of his past life hitting him hard. Money was always their biggest problem back then, and no guild would even look his way. He remembers the struggle of working endless part-time jobs just to keep their balance above zero. They lived so frugally, with his sister trying to help out with tutoring money just to make ends meet. She had actually been accepted into a prestigious arts academy, but it was just too far away. She gave up on her dream entirely just to stay by his side and avoid being a burden. He checks the time, knowing she should have arrived by now. He scans the crowd, his heart pounding in his chest as he searches for her. And then, he hears a familiar voice calling out to him. She's right there telling him he's lost track of the pickup location again. It's Si-yeon standing there in the flesh. He stares at her, his eyes wide, as he realizes it's been 7 long years since he last saw her alive. She laughs, asking him to at least help her with her heavy suitcase. She waves a hand in front of his face, wondering why he's just standing there like a statue. He can't hold it back anymore, pulling her into a massive, desperate hug as the reality of his second chance finally sinks in. Si-chen's eyes widen in pure shock as he pulls his sister into a desperate, tearful embrace. After 7 long years of hell, she is finally standing right in front of him. She struggles to breathe, shouting that he's literally choking her. But he just smiles, relieved to hear her voice again. He makes a silent, ironclad vow in his heart. In this life, he will never let her suffer or die again. But while they share this moment, danger is lurking in the shadows nearby. A group of thugs is lying in wait, ready to ambush him the moment he passes. Their leader grins with pure malice, eager to show Si-chen exactly what happens when you cross him. They watch from the darkness, debating if they should go too far and actually kill him. The leader scoffs, claiming he just wants to rough him up, but he's still fuming over Si-chen's arrogant attitude. Si-chen, however, has already issued his cold final warning. "You're too noisy, do not bother me again." The thugs do not care, vowing to beat him until he's half dead so he can't even join the upcoming exam. Kyang-dai, a high-ranking cloud assassin, prepares his blade, ready to teach the arrogant punk a lesson. Unaware of the trap, Si-chen walks down the street with his sister, who notices he's been acting strange and asks if he's just stressed about the graduation exam. She teases him, wondering if he's secretly love-struck, and reminds him to stay strong, quoting their old motto about believing in himself. They walk together, completely oblivious to the killers watching their every move. Si-chen thinks to himself how sensitive she is, already noticing he is not the same person anymore. He tries to brush it off, telling her he's fine, but she just laughs, saying he's building walls around his heart like an old man. They continue down the alley, walking straight into the thugs' line of sight. The ambushers watch them approach, confused and wondering why a girl is walking with their target. The thugs are lurking in the shadows, whispering about how they're going to have some fun with Si-chen in this secluded alley. But Si-chen senses something immediately, his eyes narrowing as he detects a familiar, hostile presence. It's the student council's bunch, and they've actually tracked him down here. They're closing in, and Si-chen realizes they've finally cornered him. Unaware of the immediate danger, he pulls out his earbuds. He gently places one in his sister's ear, trying to keep her calm. He tells her he wants to share a song he's been listening to on repeat. She smiles, closing her eyes as the music begins to play, unaware of the looming threat. Si-chen looks at her, his expression hardening as he prepares to protect this moment at all costs. He turns away, his eyes glowing with a cold, lethal intensity as he prepares for the fight. The thugs approach, their ranks clearly displayed as low-tier trash. The music continues, a haunting melody playing while the sky seems to echo with the sound of a final farewell. The thugs charge, but Si-chen is already moving to intercept them before they can get anywhere near his sister. He remembers the year 2160 when he lost the last of his family, and the rage begins to boil over. This is the first time in 7 years he's been reunited with his family, and he's not letting anyone ruin it. He screams internally, ready to unleash his fury on anyone who dares to interfere. He strikes with blinding speed, a single devastating blow connecting with the lead thug's face. The impact is absolute, sending the thug flying through the air in a daze. Si-chen's sister remains in her own world, listening to the music, completely oblivious to the violence unfolding just feet away. He moves like a phantom, his fist crackling with lethal energy as he prepares to finish the job. The remaining thugs are terrified, their eyes wide with shock as they realize they've picked the wrong target. Si-chen tears through them, his movements a blur of gold and lightning. He launches himself into the fray, taking down the attackers one by one with effortless precision. A massive final strike connects with the last thug, shattering his resolve completely. Si-chen reaches out, grabbing the attacker's arm with all his strength to end the fight once and for all. The ambush is on, but Si-chen is faster than they could ever imagine. He lands a brutal lightning-charged strike that leaves the thug screaming in agony. The guy is clutching his arm, completely broken by the sheer force of the blow. Si-chen does not stop there, launching the attacker into the air with a devastating follow-up. The remaining thugs are paralyzed, staring at him like he's a literal monster. Si-chen crackles with lethal energy, his eyes burning with a cold, predatory light. He closes the distance in a heartbeat, tearing through the group with surgical precision. Every punch lands with the weight of a thunderbolt, shattering their defenses instantly. One thug tries to stand his ground, but he's already outclassed by a mile. He's panicking, screaming about his status as a top-tier assassin. But Si-chen does not care about his rank or his reputation. He delivers a final crushing blow that sends the thug spiraling into the ground. The impact is absolute, leaving the attacker ragdolled and helpless. He's coughing up blood, his confidence completely obliterated in seconds. Si-chen stands over him, a silhouette of pure, unadulterated power. The alleyway explodes with the force of his final strike, finishing the fight for good. He looms over the defeated trash, his eyes glowing like embers in the dark. "I told you already, do not bother me," he warns, his voice cold as ice. He stares down at them, his crimson eyes demanding to know if they even understand human language. The thugs are broken, sobbing about their shattered limbs and the terrifying reality of his strength. Si Chen grabs one by the throat, pressing a blade to his face and threatening to end him right there. The thug is shaking, realizing that Si Chen is not bluffing. He's a killer. The sheer weight of his killing intent is suffocating, leaving them wondering what kind of hell he's been through. Si Chen stares deep into their souls, forcing them to remember every word he's about to say. He leaves them in the dirt, warning them that if they ever cross his sister's path again, they will not live to regret it. The alleyway is a scene of pure carnage as Si Chen looms over the broken thugs, his voice dripping with lethal intent as he growls, "Every last one of you, I will not hesitate to make you disappear forever." He stares down at them with glowing crimson eyes, his voice cold as he demands understand. The thugs are left in the dirt, absolutely shattered and bleeding out from the sheer force of his assault. As Si Chen walks away, leaving them broken against the wall like discarded trash. The world feels different now, and as the melody plays, he thinks when the birds return, the sky clears once more. He finds himself lost in the music, wondering, why does listening to this song make me want to cry? His sister Si Yun teases him, saying, "We were only apart a few days. You're not that lonely." She laughs, "Bro, playing this card is so annoying," and he surprises her with a small red gift box. He smiles, handing it to her. "Zio Yun, this is a gift for you." Her eyes go wide as she gasps, "This is a magic holographic drawing pen, and it's the latest model." She panics, "This costs over 10,000. Where'd you get the money?" He thinks of his failure in the past. "In my past life, I could not protect you." His hand is still stained with the blood of the thugs from the alley, but he vows, "I will protect everything that is yours." She tests the pen, and it creates a stunning glowing fish in midair. While he eats his noodles, thinking Zio Yun's fried egg noodles really are the best, but she's still worried. "But bro, we still need to pay rent. You are spending money so recklessly." He interrupts, "I already paid this year's rent in full." He laughs nervously, "Well, I partnered with a friend on a small business venture." She narrows her eyes, "Big bro is terrible at lying, so suspicious." But she sees his genuine joy, but still such a happy smile. "I have not seen that on his face in so long." She leans in, "Anyway bro, no matter what you are dealing with, do not push yourself too hard." He looks at her, his eyes softening as he whispers, "Okay." Qiang Dai is in rough shape with over 60% of his bones fractured. Even the best healers cannot fully restore him in just a month. The higher-ups are watching, shocked that he actually went after Si Chen and ended up like this. It looks like he's going to miss the graduation exam entirely. But Gong Ting does not care, calling him dead weight who could not keep up. Gong Xuan, the director of career services, is keeping a close eye on Si Chen. He's verified the internal results from the last evaluation. He knows Si Chen is actually rank C, the only student in the school with a higher rank than Gong Ting. Gong Ting just stares, his eyes cold and unreadable. His father invited the Alliance vice chairman to watch the performance, so they cannot let anyone steal his spotlight. If it comes down to it, they might even have to ask his niece to fill the gap in his team. She just smiles, confident that her uncle is overthinking everything. Gong Ting is not worried, telling his uncle he's overthinking it. He asks if they really think he used his full strength during the evaluation. He's going to make everyone realize who the strongest really is when the combat exam finally arrives. He's ready to prove he's the king of this school. Meanwhile, Si Chen is out in the pouring rain, pushing his body to the absolute limit. He's finished his 100-kilometer weighted training, and his plan is finally falling into place. His next task is to win that $1 million scholarship and pay off his debt. He knows he has to honor his contract with Qing Zhai for the future. Back in his dorm, he's resting, knowing there's less than a month until the exam. He closes his eyes, determined to level up a few more times before the big day. Suddenly, the system boots up and the Gluttony system goes back online. He finds himself standing before a massive, twisted tower in the void. He begins to climb the steps, ready to face whatever nightmare awaits him inside. Si Chen is pushing his limits, and the results are insane. His weakest class, Doomfang King, already hit rank C, but his strongest profile, the Purgatory Rakshasa, is a total mystery. It's so powerful that the system can't even display a rank for it. Wait, he still does not know the true potential of his other two classes. Suddenly, a golden key appears in his hand, the SSS rank Key of Time Rift. He holds it up and the air begins to crackle with raw energy. He decides to test it out right now, and the gate to the Demon Tower swings wide open. He steps into the swirling purple vortex, disappearing into the unknown. He arrives at the Starfall Barrens, and this place is absolutely desolate. It's a wasteland of cosmic dust and silence. But wait, something is wrong. He suddenly drops to the ground, gasping for air. The gravity here is crushing, nearly 10 times normal. The door behind him vanishes and he's trapped. He has to adapt, and he has to do it fast. A massive glowing phantom lion leaps from the shadows. It's a rank B beast and it's fast. Si Chen's hand crackles with lightning as he prepares to strike. He checks his stats, but the gravity is severely limiting his output. The lion lunges and Si Chen barely dodges the lethal claws. He tries to counterattack, but the beast is just too quick. He swings his blade but his body feels like lead. He misses his mark and the paralysis effect fails to trigger. The high gravity is ruining his speed and his accuracy. The lion is completely unfazed and it's ready to tear him apart. Chen grits his teeth, channeling every ounce of his energy into one final desperate strike. He pushes past the pain and the system confirms his growth as the Purgatory Rakshasa class locks in. Chen is pushed to the absolute brink, his eyes glowing with a lethal neon intensity as he screams, "Then I will switch to Purgatory Rakshasa." The air around him warps into a violent shadowy vortex of pure destruction. As he recalls the golden rule, each class has different core advantages and close quarters combat demands a warrior class with high strength and stamina boosts. He slams his fist into the ground, channeling every ounce of his energy to stack gravity to the absolute maximum. The impact force skyrockets, climbing through 200%, 400%, and finally hitting a terrifying 600%. In this already crushing high-gravity environment, his punch is amplified 60 times over. The phantom lion lunges with savage intent, its eyes burning with a spectral blue fire. Chen unleashes a beam of pure concentrated power, screaming, "You will not stop me." The energy rips through the void in a blinding flash of white light. He collapses to the ground, gasping for air, his hand trembling and stained with the remnants of the battle. The beast is obliterated, leaving a massive crater in the landscape as the system announces a massive 12-0 exp gain. Chen stands up, his body rippling with newfound power as the system confirms his level is now 11. He analyzes his class cards, noting that Purgatory Rakshasa has more stars and higher overall stats than his Volt Assassin profile. But wait. He just used everything he had to barely defeat a B-rank monster, and neither of his classes has even broken into the B-rank tier yet. He pauses, his brow furrowing in deep confusion. Why did not the system display the devourable marker after killing this monster, and why has not the gate to the next level appeared? He stares into the vast cosmic expanse, realizing the gate to the next level is nowhere to be found. He stands alone on the desolate moon, like surface, his breath hitching in the thin air. His eyes widen as a terrifying thought crosses his mind. Could it be? Suddenly, a massive swirling black hole tears open in the sky above him. Dozens of glowing predatory eyes peer out from the darkness of the portal. He gasps, his heart hammering against his ribs. Could it be? The real Lord has not even appeared yet. He looks back at the carnage, realizing that what he just killed with everything he had was nothing more than a regular mob. The shadows descend and he prepares to fight for his life all over again. He lunges into the fray, his blades cutting through the darkness as he finally understands the true brutal meaning of the Purgatory Rakshasa. The battle for survival is relentless and Chen is pushed to the absolute brink. That beast is a nightmare of pure predatory power. He's battered, bleeding, and gasping for air, but the voice in his head is clear: "You must conquer." He struggles to find his footing, his body screaming in agony. He's back in the dorm, chest heaving, trying to calm his racing heart. Every muscle feels like it's been torn apart and the pain is hauntingly real. There are no shortcuts in this life and the path ahead is lonely. The atmosphere shifts as the students gather for the big event. Gong Chuan, the director, watches everything with a cold, calculating gaze. The rumors are spreading like wildfire among the students. Everyone is buzzing about the high-level officials coming to watch, but the rules have changed and the pressure is mounting for everyone. The director steps up to the podium, ready to drop the hammer. He announces that all rank data has been sent to their wristbands. The tension is suffocating as they scramble to check their status. Everyone is staring at their screens, their eyes wide with shock. The list is public and the hierarchy is laid bare for all to see. But wait, something is wrong with the data. Chen is staring at his own wristband, completely stunned. Everyone around him is whispering, confused by the sudden drop in his rank. They think the demon core was just broken during his test. Chen stands there, his expression unreadable as the crowd turns on him. They're already laughing, calling him dead weight for the upcoming exam. But Gong Ting just watches him from across the room, his eyes dark and silent. The elite are watching from the shadows, and the director is clearly disappointed in his nephew's lack of progress. He sneers, promising to teach him a lesson about what true power really looks like. Down on the floor, the chaos is absolute as students scramble to form their teams for the exam. Everyone is desperate to get on Gong Ting's squad, begging and pleading for a chance to prove their loyalty. But the team spots are filling up fast and the pressure is reaching a breaking point. Half an hour passes and the system pings as team formations are finalized. The room is packed with groups, but Chen's dorm is left completely isolated. They've asked everyone, but nobody wants to be associated with them. They're staring at the reality of being disqualified before the exam even starts. It makes no sense, especially after Chen's incredible performance. Chen stands there, his eyes cold, wondering if the system is rigged against them. He knows the graduation exam is the only way to secure their future. The rules are brutal. Team size dictates the monster count, so bigger is not always better. But even with that, nobody wants to team up with the weakest students in the school. The clock is ticking and the situation is getting desperate. A group approaches, mocking them for sticking together and risking their qualification. Chen knows that if they do not find a solution, they're finished. They're on the verge of losing their right to compete entirely. One of the students tries to apologize, but the dorm is standing firm, refusing to abandon each other. The other students just laugh, calling them ungrateful trash for turning down their charity. The team list is filling up and the options are vanishing by the second. Time is running out and they are still one person short of the requirement. Si Chen stands in the tense arena, his eyes cold as he watches the career services director Gong Xuan. He knows exactly who this guy is and he's clearly a relative of the arrogant Gong Ting. It's obvious they've been rigging the exam rules just to keep Si Chen isolated and powerless. But Si Chen is not about to let them win, so he triggers his class switch, ready to show everyone that true strength is not just about some rigged test score. His roommate is panicking, wondering what on earth he's planning to do in front of everyone. But Si Chen knows the Academy's tradition allows for 1v1 challenges anywhere, anytime. It's a bold, provocative move, but it's the only way to force them to acknowledge his real power. Most students would be terrified to issue such a sudden challenge, and the surrounding crowd is already whispering in shock at his audacity. But Gong Ting is the one who definitely will not back down from this, and he stares back at Si Chen with a look of pure calculated malice. Si Chen just smirks, knowing that if he makes a scene, the truly strong players will be forced to take notice of him. Suddenly a voice cuts through the tension. It's Ling Yu asking if he still needs a teammate. She steps forward, calmly offering to join his squad for the graduation exam. She's confident, reminding everyone that she reached rank D back in middle school, and the entire room goes silent as they realize the vice president is actually siding with the loser. Gong Ting's lackeys are losing their minds, screaming about why his own cousin would betray them like this. Even director Gong Xuan is so shocked he spits out his drink, while the crowd whispers about Ling Yu's mysterious status as a prodigy from the Sacred Kingdom. Gong Xuan immediately tries to shut it down, shouting that Ling Yu has no right to participate as an exchange student. He claims she's breaking school rules because she never took an official rank test. But then the air suddenly crackles with intense purple energy. The principal has arrived and Gong Xuan is absolutely terrified to see him standing there. The tension is at a breaking point as the principal confronts Ling Yu, demanding to know why she's throwing her status away to join this mess. Si Chen watches, his eyes wide with shock as he realizes the principal just moved instantly. Wait is not his class type of warrior. How did he teleport like that? The principal turns to Ling Yu, warning her that joining Si Chen will completely upset the balance, but she just brushes it off with a smirk. Si Chen stands in the shadows, his eyes glowing with a cold, intense light as he processes the power gap. He looks at them and he can't even detect either of their ranks. It's like they're on a completely different level. The principal keeps up the act, preaching about the school's prestige and the importance of following the rules. He drones on about the university's mission to train world-class fighters and provide the best platform for talent. He emphasizes that the graduation combat exam is a sacred tradition, a key turning point for every student's future. But then he drops a subtle, chilling threat, asking how the school could take responsibility if students lose this chance due to special circumstances. The director is sweating bullets, his face pale, as he wonders if the principal figured out he tampered with the system. He's absolutely livid, thinking he's joining hands with Ling Yu just to help that brat. He decides to back off, muttering that there's no need to clash too hard with the principal right now. Meanwhile, Gong Ting sits in the audience, listening to his uncle whisper that he can only help him this far, leaving Si Chen stuck with his useless team. The principal turns to the staff and they immediately start groveling, agreeing that it was their fault the rules were so unfair. He makes a grand declaration. Teams with fewer than 5 members or no E-rank upper tier can now register, opening the doors to everyone. The system pings and suddenly their team formation is officially successful. They're celebrating, screaming that they can finally join the exam, and they immediately name Si Chen their captain. The principal looks over at Ling Yu, noting that her interest in Si Chen is even stronger than he expected. The stage is set. On one side, Gong Ting leads the strongest team in school history, while Si Chen stands with the 3 lowest-ranked students. The director watches with a sinister smile, wondering which demon Lair they'll choose and how badly they'll fail. He announces that once a team is complete, the captain can select their target demon Lair. Suddenly, a notification hits the screen. A submission has been received, and the proctor is stunned by how fast they picked. The crowd goes wild, whispering in disbelief that Si Chen's team already made their choice. Everyone is screaming, "Wait, what? They actually chose that one?" His teammates are losing their minds, begging him to cancel it immediately because they think he's completely insane. The room is dead silent and everyone is staring at Si Chen like he's lost his mind. They do not get it. The graduation combat exam is the first time students step into a real lethal demon lair as a team. The rules are brutal, with points awarded for clear rates, boss kills, and completion time. Every lair grade has a multiplier, and choosing an F rank caps your score, while a king rank lair is the only way to hit that perfect 100. Getting that top score means a direct ticket to the Imperial Guild. And the MVP, they walk away with a management position and $1 million prize. But the school record is only 90 points, and the experts are already saying you need at least 3 rank D awakened just to survive an E rank lair. Everyone is betting that Gong Ting's elite team is the only one with a shot at that record. But then, a notification pings and the proctor's face goes pale. Submission received. He's shaking, staring at the screen in total disbelief. He can't even finish his sentence. The screen shows it clearly. Si Chen has locked in a D-rank Lair. He just stands there cold and unbothered, waiting for his team to confirm. The crowd is losing their minds, screaming that no graduating class has ever cleared a D-rank Lair. His teammates are panicking, grabbing his arm and shouting, "Si Chen, are you insane?" One of them is literally crying on the floor, calling him a total lunatic. The system prompt is flashing on their wristbands, asking for their final agreement. They're begging him to think it through, but Si Chen just looks them in the eye and says, "I have thought it through." Ding dong, the submission is locked in. Gong Ting's team is registered and the proctors are already scrambling. The crowd is erupting into chaos, screaming another D-rank. The elites are watching from the VIP box, thinking this year is going to be wild. They're sneering, calling Si Chen and his crew a bunch of nobodies trying to act tough. They're already laughing, saying the team is just looking for attention before they finish last. They're cackling, convinced the team is falling apart and that this whole thing is a total disaster. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife as Si Chen stands there completely calm while his teammates look on in utter disbelief. That aura radiating from him is something else entirely, and everyone is wondering when he started hiding such terrifying power. He's been their friend for 4 years, but this side of him is brand new. Si Chen does not hesitate, slamming his wristband against the terminal to lock in their choice. They're all in now, agreeing that if they're going down they might as well go out swinging in a D-rank Lair. But wait, the reality of their decision is starting to hit them hard. One of his teammates is already losing his mind, screaming that he's supposed to be the boss of the dorm, not a suicide candidate. Despite the panic, the system confirms it. Si Chen's team is officially registered for the D-rank challenge. They stand there, a ragtag group of underdogs facing the impossible. Si Chen looks at them, his eyes softening for a brief second as he whispers, "I am sorry." He knows he's dragging them into the fire, but he's dead set on winning that MVP title. He flashes a sharp, dangerous grin, shouting, "Then let us take the highest score together." The MVP is his, and he's not letting anyone stand in his way. Gong Ting watches from above, his eyes burning with a cold, intense jealousy. He's fuming, thinking there can only be one king in this school. Even the observers are stunned, whispering that they've never seen Gong Ting look so rattled before. The rivalry is out in the open now, and the entire school is watching. The elders are impressed by their youthful fearlessness, even if they think Si Chen is walking into a meat grinder. They know that clearing a D-rank Lair with this team is statistically impossible. It's a high-risk, high-reward gamble that defies all logic. The clock is ticking, and there's only half a month left until the exam. While other teams are grinding in simulation rooms, Si Chen is pushing his team to the absolute limit. The simulation rooms are packed with elites training for the big day. Everyone is just hoping Si Chen's team does not embarrass themselves too badly. But with only 17 days left, his teammates are already collapsing from the brutal non-stop training he's forcing them through. Si Chen is pushing his team to the absolute limit, but his friends are starting to crack under the pressure of his brutal non-stop training. He knows that school simulations are just theoretical nonsense that will not save them when the real nightmare begins. He's seen what happens when fear and the unknown crash down like a flood, and he knows that when the gates open, only raw instinct will keep them alive. He's drilling them on stamina, explosive power, and reaction speed, because he knows the school's training is a joke compared to the hell of a real demon lair. But the elites are already hoarding the best training grounds, doing everything in their power to widen the gap between themselves and everyone else. They want to stay at the top forever, and they're born with advantages that most people spend their entire lives chasing in vain. The Demon Kings possess power that mortals can't even fathom, leaving those with nothing to wonder if they even have a chance to fight back. Si Chen stares them down, cold and determined, knowing the only way to survive is to break through that class barrier and enter the Imperial Guild with the highest score. His teammates are terrified, but they know the graduation exam is their only shot at overtaking the elites. Si Chen looks into the abyss, vowing to fulfill his promise to everyone and win this war at any cost. He's ready to do whatever it takes, and with 15 days left he dives back into the Dream Tower to hunt. He's fighting for his life in the Starfall Barrens, tearing through waves of beasts with lethal lightning-charged strikes. He's taking hit after hit, but he keeps pushing, knowing that with only 10 days, 5 days, and finally 3 days left, he's becoming a monster of his own. The final countdown is here, and Si Chen is ready to burn it all down. He's down to 2 days before the exam. It's June 17, 2157, the day of the graduation combat exam, and the escort drone is already buzzing with instructions, and the system finally confirms his growth. He's hit level 16, and he's ready to show the world exactly what a Volt Assassin can do. Si Chen tightens his gloves, his focus absolute as he prepares for the chaos. The students are lined up looking like they're ready for war, but Si Chen stands out with that cold, lethal energy. The system signals the start, and the entire arena erupts in a flash of electric blue. The National Awakened University is crawling with elite figures today. The principal greets President Gong, and the tension is already sky high. Then Gong Lin, the co-founder of the Imperial Guild, and Gong Ting's father steps into the light. The crowd is losing their minds, whispering about how handsome and powerful he looks. But wait, who's in the car behind them? A man steps out and everyone is completely stunned by his presence. It's Carl Cavendish, the vice chairman of the World Guild Alliance. The students are screaming, unable to believe such a legend is actually at their school. They know that just being noticed by someone like him could change their entire lives forever. The broadcast is about to start and the pressure on these kids is hitting an all-time high. The proctor announces there are 184 students split into 28 teams. Most chose F rank, a few went for E rank, but only 2 teams were brave enough to pick D rank. Sigrid, the secretary general of the Guild Alliance, is genuinely surprised that anyone would risk a D rank Lair. She warns the staff about the extreme danger while Gong Ting just sits there completely unbothered. The director claims they warned the students, but he knows most of them are just weak E ranks who can barely handle F rank mobs. Inside an F rank Lair, a student is already struggling to take down a Thornjaw salamander. It's a brutal fight, and even the F rank Lair lords are pushing these kids to their absolute limits. But E rank Lairs are a whole different nightmare. The stag beetle spiders are swarming and they're as strong as any F-rank boss. One student is already breaking down, screaming that this is a mission impossible. The officials are watching the live feed with cold, calculating eyes, and the Secretary General is demanding to know what happens if a student faces real danger. The director assures her that Imperial Guild personnel are stationed outside every lair for immediate intervention. But that's not all, because every student's wristband is equipped with a built-in teleportation function for emergencies. Suddenly, a student screams in terror, hitting his wristband to quit the exam. He vanishes in a flash of red light, instantly teleported to safety away from the nightmare. The officials are still watching the 2 teams brave enough to tackle the D-rank lairs, and the director is practically salivating, waiting to see how long these kids can actually last. He's betting they'll bail out the second things get real. But then, the screen shifts to the Cloudforest summit, a brutal D-rank lair. A massive, terrifying ghost bat monkey drops from the trees, and Si Chen instantly recognizes the threat, warning his team that these monsters specialize in high-speed group attacks. The shadows of the beasts loom over them, and they dive from the canopy with lethal razor-sharp claws. Si Chen shouts a warning, but the attack is already upon them, sending him spiraling through the snow as he narrowly avoids a fatal blow. He recovers with lightning speed. And his teammates are in shock, screaming that they actually survived a D-rank monster's strike. The beast slams into the ground, and his teammates stare at Si Chen, completely stunned by his reaction. In the blink of an eye, Si Chen has already taken down 3 of the D-rank monsters. He turns to his friends, his eyes glowing with cold authority, telling them to stay safe while he handles the rest. He unleashes a massive crackling bolt of energy, and as the shockwave tears through the forest, he screams for his team to watch out for the next wave. The battle is absolute chaos, and Si Chen is pinned against a tree, gasping for air. His teammates are finally putting the pieces together, realizing that all those brutal training sessions were just to keep them alive. Si Chen grinds his teeth, frustrated that he's been forced to take the lead instead of just being the dorm boss. But there's no time to complain, because he launches himself into the air, crackling with lethal electricity to strike down the incoming beasts. Suddenly, a swarm of ghost bat monkeys descends from the canopy, screeching with pure malice. Si Chen moves like a blur, his blades cutting through the air in a display of raw, overwhelming power. His teammates are watching in total disbelief, their jaws on the floor as they witness his true strength. He's moving with the precision of a veteran, and they can clearly see he's no longer just a graduating student. He tears through the forest, leaving a trail of defeated monsters in his wake. One of his teammates realizes he's been completely left in the dust by Si Chen's rapid growth. But then, another monkey lunges from the blind spot behind them. Si Chen reacts, instantly spinning around to intercept the beast with his bare hands. He catches the monster's claw mid-air, the impact glowing with intense fiery energy. He screams at Ma Long to move to the right, refusing to let them be dead weight. They realize this is not just a test. It's their graduation exam, and they have to survive it together. Si Chen's eyes burn with a fierce golden light as he shouts for them to fight back. He channels his energy, preparing to unleash a devastating skill. He slams his hands down, triggering the floral chant, Vine Lock, to bind the beast in place. The vines wrap around the monkey, snapping tight with a deafening crack. The monster roars in agony as Si Chen follows up with a brutal lightning-charged strike, but the beast is ferocious and it breaks free from the vines in an instant. Si Chen does not panic, shouting for Xiangzhu to use the cloud chant, Frost Gust, to freeze the target. Xiangzhu hits the mark, slowing the monster down just enough for their next move. Si Chen readies his fist, glowing with green destructive power, and taunts the beast. He shouts for Xiangzhu to finish it, combining their skills into a lethal frozen trap. The battle is reaching a fever pitch as Si Chen screams, "Got it." He channels his energy, preparing to launch his ultimate move, the Core Mage. Explosive Flame Shell. The air erupts in a blinding, massive explosion of pure destructive power. The ghost bat monkey lets out a final agonizing roar as it's caught in the blast. Si Chen is pushed to his absolute limit, shouting, "Damn, it's that tough." He pushes through the smoke, delivering a final crushing blow that tears the beast apart. He's struggling to maintain his focus, gasping, "I'm not gonna hold it much longer." His teammate is right there with him, screaming, I'm at my limit here." Si Chen does not hesitate, shouting, "Screw it. Going all out." He gathers every ounce of his remaining strength, roaring, "This is my all-out strike." The core mage. Focused explosive flame shell detonates with earth-shattering force. The drone hovers overhead, announcing, "Congrats, Ghost Bat Monkey defeated." His teammates collapse in relief, shouting, "We did it. We actually took down a D-rank monster." Si Chen stands in the silence, his eyes cold and focused on the next threat. His teammates are buzzing, asking, "Hey, Si Chen, you saw that right?" As the monster's remains drop, one of them grins, panting, "That was easy as pie." The drone confirms, "Congrats, all regular monsters in this lair have been defeated." But back at the observation center, the director is losing his mind, screaming, How is this possible?" He's in total shock, muttering, "Those useless students actually killed a D-rank monster above their level." The high-ranking officials watch in silence, their expressions unreadable. One of them leans back, smirking, That young man is performing quite well." Si Chen stands tall, his eyes glowing with a mysterious, lethal intensity. The official continues, "He looks a lot like a certain old acquaintance." He smiles, whispering, "His name is Si Chen, huh? I'll remember it." The director just stares at the screen, his face twisted in pure cold disbelief. The director stands there sweating bullets as he realizes the impossible is happening. He clears his throat, trying to regain control, while announcing to the entire room that the other team in the D-rank lair has already reached the midpoint. The live feed shows them moving with terrifying efficiency, slicing through everything in their path. Even the elite observers are forced to admit their coordination is on the level of a professional guild. One of the high-ranking guests smiles, clearly impressed by the talent on display this year. But the director just narrows his eyes, muttering that the real battle has only just begun. Suddenly, the scene shifts to a new dangerous zone, the Miasma Shroom Grotto. A group of deadly mushrooms appears, and a teammate immediately unleashes a song to weaken them. She shouts for the team to gather their energy for a massive strike. Si Chen steps up, channeling a star-based ability to pull the monsters into a single point. He moves with blinding speed, his blade glowing with lethal intent. With a single earth-shattering swing, he executes the blazing sky break. Gong Ting watches the feed, his face cold and unreadable as he realizes the competition is heating up. His team is also crushing their monsters, bragging that these exam beasts are just like the ones they practiced on. One of them smirks, realizing the whole exam was rigged to favor the Gong family from the start. They laugh, feeling like guaranteed champions as they head toward the final boss. Meanwhile, Si Chen and his team reach the frozen summit, their breath visible in the biting cold. They stare up at the peak, realizing they've actually made it to the top of a D-rank lair. Suddenly, a massive ice ghost ape tears through the snow, its body covered in scars. The teammates are shaking, terrified by the sheer size of the final lord. The beast turns its glowing red eyes toward them, hungry for blood. One of them panics, screaming that the monster is looking right at them. The ape leaps into the air, ready to crush them with a single brutal blow. Si Chen does not flinch, launching himself upward to deliver a devastating kick to the beast's chest. The impact sends a shockwave through the air, blasting the monster back into the frozen wall. Si Chen lunges into the air, delivering a brutal lightning-charged kick. That slams the ice ghost ape into the frozen wall with devastating force. He lands on the snow, panting as he mutters, "So it still went down this easily?" The system pings, confirming the kill and granting him a measly reward. Si Chen stares at the corpse, his eyes narrowing in cold frustration. "Strange. We killed the D-rank lair lord and only got this much XP, and the loot is this trashy." But then his teammates start shouting, "Holy, look at all these magic crystals." They scramble toward a massive hollowed-out tree, pointing excitedly, "Guys, get over here and check this out. That big guy stashed a ton of magic crystals in this tree hollow." The crystals glow with an intense blinding light, and they gasp, judging by the size they are at least mid-grade crystals. They start laughing, completely losing their minds. "If we take these out and sell them, we're set for life." Si Chen watches them, his expression shifting to one of intense suspicion. "Wait." He reaches out his hand toward the crystals, and suddenly a massive surge of energy erupts. As the entire team is caught in a blinding, swirling vortex of light, Si Chen's eyes glow with a dangerous crimson intensity as he realizes they've triggered a trap. He screams, "Cloud Mage, Ice Burst Bomb." The explosion tears through the area, freezing everything in a massive, jagged block of ice. Back at the observation center, the screens flicker and go black, replaced by a terrifying red warning. Si Chen's team signal lost. The director smirks, adjusting his glasses. "Just as I thought. High-level monsters are intelligent. Trash will always be trash. They will spend their whole lives dragging everyone down. Looks like your little graduation exam journey ends here, Tilda." A colleague leans in, whispering, "At this point, the students' lives are in danger, are not they?" Yeah, saving them should come first. Seems we will have to let the guild party intervene and call it quits for them, Tilda." But the lead official holds up a hand. Let us give them a bit more time. He points to the data. The wristbands are constantly monitoring their physical condition, and right now all their vital signs are normal. They also have not shown any intention of quitting in their mental status reports. He looks at the director, his voice cold. The choice should be in the examinee's own hands. Suddenly back in the frozen grotto, a teammate lets out a massive echoing sneeze. Achoo. They are huddled together, shivering uncontrollably. So cold, so cold. Gee, good thing I'm also a cloud-type class with some resistance to freezing. Otherwise we'd have all been wiped out in one go. A low guttural growl vibrates through the air. Grrrr tilde. Si Chen looks up, his eyes widening as a towering ethereal figure descends from the swirling snow. Is he the real lord of this lair? One of the teammates is panicking, shouting that he's seen this monster in the compendium. It's the Bone King of Frozen Remnants, a C-rank cloud mage that loves to toy with its prey. Si Chen is already moving, his mind racing as he realizes he can't handle a rare C-rank lord alone. He tries to dodge, desperate to find an opening, but it's too fast. A sharp icicle pierces his leg, drawing blood instantly. He goes down hard, screaming in pain as he hits the snow. The Bone King looms over him, cackling with a sinister, chilling laughter. His wristband flashes a red warning, a through-and-through wound in his lower leg, asking if he wants to quit. Si Chen refuses, his eyes burning with defiance as he screams for his teammate to thaw him out. His friend rushes over, channeling energy to break the ice prison, but the Bone King strikes again, a blade of ice slicing through his shoulder. He collapses the system, declaring that the purification has failed. The monster just laughs, clearly enjoying the torture. Another warning blares. Heart rate critical wound in the right arm. Abandon the exam. Si Chen stares into the darkness, his mind flashing back to every time he ran away from fear. He remembers the bullying, the laughter, and being treated like trash. He thinks of his friends, how they fought with everything they had just to get this far. They finally have a chance to change their fate. He will not give up, not like this. He reaches out, channeling the source of purification. He screams as a massive surge of power erupts from his hand. The energy spirals, blasting the Bone King back with incredible force. He roars, pushing every ounce of his spirit into the strike. The light consumes the area, tearing through the frozen grotto. He screams at the top of his lungs, unleashing everything he has left. Si Chen's eyes burn with a lethal golden intensity as he unleashes a strike of pure blinding speed. That sends him crashing into the snow alongside his teammate. The Bone King of Frozen Remnants cackles, mocking them. Heh. In the end, you broke the control all on your own. Si Chen ignores the taunt, his focus shifting to his ally. Know you helped a lot. Are your injuries okay? But the situation is grim. That monster is a rank C cloud type lord and they are trapped in the freezing cold. Si Chen stares at the beast, his expression hardening into something dangerous, as he suddenly triggers a massive explosive surge of power that tears through the sky. The Bone King lets out a chilling demonic laugh. Gahahaha. His teammate is terrified, screaming. He actually fired off a giant ice burst bomb. There's no way we can dodge that. The world erupts in a massive blinding flash of blue energy as the Bone King is sent flying back, laughing. Gahahaha. The monster looms in the cold, its skeletal form crackling with malice, while Si Chen stands amidst the wreckage, his power surging uncontrollably. He's hit level 16, and his frost body passive is now active, granting him immunity to the biting cold. The Bone King shrieks in fury. As Si Chen's teammate stares in total shock. Si Chen, what is that power on you? Are not you supposed to be a Volt assassin? He can't believe his eyes. Do not tell me you are one of those 1 in 10,000. Si Chen stands there, his face partially masked by a demonic skull. Dual class awakened. He looks at his hands glowing with multiple colors. Sorry, I misjudged things before and dragged the 3 of you into danger. He clenches his fist, the air warping around him, but that ends now. A new profile locks in, the Purgatory Rakshasa, and he growls, I will finish him off right away. The system explains the impossible truth. Normally an awakened can only hold a single class and only 1 in 10 million can manage 2. These rare beings are known as dual class awakened. And across the entire world, there are fewer than 10 of them, making them the most hunted and prized assets for every major guild. The teammates are staring at Si Chen in total disbelief, and he just stands there crackling with raw golden energy. His appearance shifts, a demonic skull mask manifesting on his face as he taps into his hidden power. His teammates are losing their minds, screaming 3 classes. They can feel the sheer suffocating pressure radiating off him, and with a single devastating move, he obliterates the remaining threats in a massive explosion of light. He moves like a blur, cutting through the battlefield with terrifying efficiency. His teammate is still reeling from the shock, staring at the shattered remains of the Bone King under Si Chen's blade. Si Chen finishes the job with a crushing gravity strike, leaving nothing but dust behind. The system pings, announcing a level up to 17 and a sweet victory reward. His friend is still panting, a rank C Lord class monster, and you one-shot it. Si Chen looks over at the others. Do you have enough strength left to break their control? He rushes over to check on Xiangzhu and Xiangyu. And the system highlights the defeated boss as devourable. Si Chen reaches out his hand, glowing with a sinister red light. He begins the devouring process, his fist crackling with stolen essence. The system confirms the process is complete, granting him the Bone King's Cloud Mage class. Si Chen's eyes burn with a cold crimson intensity, noting that the drone was frozen so their secret is safe for now. He feels a surge of energy. And the system announces his Volt Assassin class mastery has hit 100%. He stares at the notification, I got a star. Meanwhile, over in Gong Ting's team, the D-rank Lair is turning into a total bloodbath. The gluttonous Bloom is absolutely relentless, lashing out with massive vine-like appendages. The team is struggling, shouting that they're about to lose control of the situation. One of them tries to land a hit with a lightning bow, but he's panicking, screaming that the boss's defense is just too high. They can't break through the thick thorny hide at all. They're getting tossed around like ragdolls, and they're at their absolute limit. They've never faced a monster this strong in all their training, and they're completely lost. They're pinning all their hopes on President Gong Ting to save them. Gong Ting steps up, his aura flaring as he begins to charge his power. He looks absolutely lethal, his eyes glowing with a cold, focused intensity. He launches himself forward, a blur of motion, against the massive plant monster. He strikes with pinpoint accuracy, his blade cutting deep into the bloom. He roars, his eyes burning with a terrifying red light. With one final explosive strike, he pierces the core. His teammates go wild, cheering that he's the strongest and exactly as expected of the president. The system announces a total clear in just 35 minutes, a record-breaking time. They're celebrating a perfect score, convinced no one will ever beat their achievement. Back at the rest area, the other students are waiting, whispering that even the easiest F-rank Lair takes at least an hour. They're mocking anyone who walks out early, calling them quitters who bailed out. Some of the students who actually quit are sitting there crying and shaking from the trauma of the monsters. They're still terrified, sobbing about how scary the creatures were. Then Si Chen and his team walk out looking exhausted and huddled together. A guy from the other team spots them and smirks, thinking they bailed early. He laughs, saying he knew Si Chen and his lot would quit. He turns to face them, sneering, "Yo, if it is not Si Chen." The bullies are still mocking Si Chen, sneering at him for not finishing the exam. But Gong Ting suddenly steps in, barking at Gong Cheng to back off. He points toward the entrance where the vice chairman has just arrived, demanding they go pay their respects. The high-ranking official starts clapping, his hands moving with a sharp rhythmic sound. He smiles, announcing that everyone has witnessed a truly superb performance today. The entire room goes quiet as the elite group walks straight down the center of the hall. The bullies are trembling, whispering that the most powerful man in the world is walking right toward them. He heads straight for Si Chen, his hand extended for a greeting. The atmosphere is tense as the elite group stops directly in front of the students. The official looks at Si Chen, his expression unreadable as he says, "Truly impressive." He continues, clearing a D-rank Lair in just 21 minutes. He claps a hand on Si Chen's shoulder, adding even seasoned pro guild parties would struggle to do that. Spectacular work. The lackeys are absolutely losing their minds, screaming in disbelief that 4 nobodies could clear a D-rank Lair so fast. Si Chen just stands there, his face calm and unbothered, while his teammates look on in shock. He knows exactly who this is. Carl Cavendish, the second most powerful person alive. The official smiles, asking if his name is Si Chen, and admits that the trip was worth it just to meet him. He turns to acknowledge Gong Ting, praising his performance and noting that his father raised him well. Gong Ting's uncle bows his head, sweating as he thanks the vice chairman for the flattery. He looks over at Si Chen with a dark, suspicious glare, his thoughts hidden behind his glasses. The official decides it's getting late and prepares to head back. The entire hall is buzzing with people whispering about the once-in-a-millennium twin-star duo that just appeared. The proctor steps up, looking nervous as he prepares to announce the final results for both teams. He declares that since both teams achieved a perfect score, they are co-champions and are all accepted into the Imperial Guild. Si Chen's team erupts in pure joy, screaming that they'll never have to worry about rent again. But the proctor is not finished, adding that both captains will receive management positions and split the $1 million MVP prize. The tension between Si Chen and Gong Ting is absolutely suffocating as they lock eyes, and Si Chen is already doing the math in his head, realizing that the tie for first place cost him $500,000 in prize money. But Gong Ting is not backing down, declaring that there can only be one true champion. He steps right into Si Chen's personal space, demanding a one-on-one tiebreaker to settle things once and for all. The guild officials and proctors are completely blindsided by the sudden challenge, and they immediately start panicking, insisting that the exam is already over and that a tie is the perfect outcome. They know Si Chen is stubborn and likely will not agree to such a dangerous, unnecessary fight, but Si Chen just looks at them with a cold, calculating gaze, asking if he still gets the full $1 million prize. The proctor is so stunned he literally spits out his drink in disbelief. Gong Ting just smirks, telling Si Chen that if he can beat him in a real fight, he can take everything. The guild boss Qingzhai watches the drama unfold with a predatory, intrigued smile. The stage is set for a final high-stakes showdown that everyone is dying to see. Si Chen and Gong Ting stand face to face, the air crackling with their intense rivalry as they decide how to settle this. Qingzhai leans back, admitting he never expected Si Chen to break the record with a perfect score. He tells Si Chen that his investment was a stroke of genius and that he does not need to worry about the loan anymore. Si Chen just stares at him, his expression stoic and unreadable. He's not interested in handouts, though firmly stating that any debt he owes must be repaid. He tells Qingzhai he has 2 things to discuss, starting with a request for a 1-week extension on his repayment. He explains that the tie cost him the money he needed to clear his debt on time. He reveals his plan to win the tiebreaker in a wild lair, which will secure the remaining funds he needs. Qingzhai is floored, asking if he's really crazy enough to enter a wild lair without any guild protection. Chen does not even blink, promising to hand over all the loot from the lair as interest for the extension. He's completely focused on the deal, showing zero fear of the dangers ahead. Qingzhai watches him, realizing this kid is anything but ordinary. He's only thinking about his business goals. But then Chen pulls out a glass, hinting that he has one more, even more important reason for being here. Chen stands there with a cold, piercing gaze, and the director is clearly sweating under that intense pressure. He stays silent, his jaw set, refusing to give the director any satisfaction. The director is visibly rattled, his eyes darting around as he tries to maintain his composure. Chen just stares him down, his silence speaking volumes. The director is completely unnerved by this sudden, icy defiance. It's June 17, 2157, and the graduation exam at the National Awakened University is finally over. Yun is walking through the campus, stretching her arms and cheering that the last exam is finally done. She smiles, looking at her phone, happy that summer vacation is officially here. But then, she pauses, her expression shifting slightly. She looks at her phone screen, reminded that today is also her brother's big graduation exam day. Flashback to 4 years ago when Chen was so excited to show her his admission letter. She remembers how happy she was for him, thinking he was finally going to be an awakened. He told her he'd join a powerful guild to earn money so they could live a better life. He even hoped he could find the truth about their parents' disappearance. She was so proud of him, believing he was destined to be a powerful hero. But senior year arrived and she saw him struggling, wondering why he had not awakened yet. She tried to comfort him, telling him it was okay, even though she knew how hard he was working. But the reality was harsh, and he remained the only one in his class who never awakened, leaving him feeling so left behind. She looks at her phone, feeling sad that he never showed his pain in front of her. Suddenly, her classmate Zhu Tong runs up, calling out to her. Zhu Tong is buzzing with excitement, asking if she heard the news about the 2 geniuses from their university. She explains that both teams led by the geniuses achieved a perfect score, and even the Guild Alliance vice chairman gave them glowing praise. She turns to Yun, asking if her brother is also at that school. Before Yun can answer, a mysterious pink-haired guy steps into their path, greeting her with a sinister smile. A mysterious pink-haired guy named Jin Duoxin steps into the path of Yun, and she is clearly caught off guard by his sudden appearance, while her friend whispers in shock, asking how she even knows the school heartthrob. Jin Duoxin does not wait for an answer, walking past them with a casual, arrogant stride that leaves Yun completely bewildered. She thinks back to the headlines, remembering how her brother Chen struggled while everyone else was celebrating perfect scores. It hurts her heart just thinking about his pain, and she vows to hurry home to cook him a comforting meal. Night falls on June 17. And Yun has prepared a massive steaming spread of food to cheer her brother up. Chen walks in, his eyes widening in total shock at the sight of the huge feast. They sit down to eat while the evening news plays in the background, reporting on the graduation exam and the special commendation given to the top students by the Guild Alliance vice chairman. Yun watches her brother, thinking he's just forcing himself to act calm despite the pressure of the exam. The news anchor continues, announcing that 2 geniuses have emerged as double champions with perfect scores. The report highlights the praise from Vice Chairman Carl Cavendish. And then it happens. The anchor explicitly names student Chen. Yun freezes, her eyes snapping toward the television screen in pure disbelief. She gasps, perfect score. Student Chen? Meanwhile, in the shadows, a dark whip-like shadow coils on the floor, and a sinister figure stands in a private aquarium room, telling his subordinate that he personally invited the audience to watch the show. He glares at the man, his voice dripping with cold venom as he says, "You ruined the show." He mocks the man for losing to a nameless brat who is not even worth mentioning. He coldly declares that the man no longer has a say in the matter, and he forces the broken subordinate to accept that he will handle the 1 week later tiebreaker himself. He stares into the darkness, his face twisted with obsession. First place can only belong to the Gong family, no matter what it takes.